So this is a beautiful evening. I'm here with Yogi, who's very interested in the fair that is going to be happening tomorrow in the village I live in. But we're sat in this beautiful sunset, as we often do, because I thought I'll share with you just thoughts and reflections on an event that I'm about to do in the next few weeks, and that is Lakeland 100. So I put my name down last year, the year before, for Lakeland 50. I kept hearing this constant, it's the best event ever, it's so brilliant, it's just amazing. So okay, put my name down, and I just happened to get a spot in the ballot, which is amazing. People continuously telling me that something is so incredible. I often question, is it really that good? When I went last year, and this is a whole episode needed because so many things happened, and long story short, I really think Lakeland is an amazing event. Both the 50 and the 100, I assume. We'll find out. But all in all, I had a great day. I had a super day at Lakeland 50, and at some point, somewhere on the road, when I started seeing the hundreds, all I could think of is, this is what I want to do. So the year after I put my name down, also I had some really good qualifying events that I did back home, some mountain events. And I kind of felt prepared. I felt ready. I felt really good about it. And I was overjoyed to get a spot at the 100, which incidentally is 105, which 5 miles for someone like me who is not quite at the front of the pack. I am, towards the end. So, what's happening, Papa? So I kind of thought, let's give it a go, and let's put all my efforts, let's put all my energy into doing this event really well. I'm also not very good at going in the same places all the time, so I kind of figured out if I'm gonna go once, because I don't know whether I'll ever get a spot afterwards, I really want to be doing it service and actually being proud of myself. So I kind of thought, let's go and follow the plan that Lakeland very kindly put on Facebook. The organizers put a really lovely planning program, training kind of explanation, and it goes as far as teaching you the different training zones, so you are doing well if you can go slower. They say the event, if you do 3 miles an hour, you should be okay. I mean, it is really hilly, we know that. That I can do, and of course I end up, no, wait. So okay. Oh, so the bit that I was talking about was actually the training. Over a period of time, I changed from my own style of training to training in these lower hard zones. I learned a lot on the way. I learned how to deal with the bogs, the right shoes, the right gear, when to fuel, what to fuel with, how to deal with heat, how to deal with rain, how to deal with chafing, how to deal with trench foot. I just have so much in my head about this event. But one thing I did find is that after a while, it just became too much. And in fact, locally I have an area which is fairly hilly, and I tend to go and just have the most joyous Saturday, Sunday, long days, 5-6 hours. And I just no longer enjoy those. And I found myself kind of deep down in myself knowing that this isn't good for me, that this training does not work, but I persevered because that sort of girl I am. I just tried to keep going. And just one day, I think I was going somewhere, again, sort of climbing up a hill, and my husband rang me saying, you know, hey, what time do you want dinner? And just a very common conversation. And I just burst in tears. And he's like, hey, just get in the car and, you know, have something to eat, because that's the answer to most things. I actually found myself very burnt out. I didn't like any of the programming. The program they suggested was actually probably the right program for Joe Average, but what I did find is that I like going different places, but different places in terms of how I feel. It's terrible to say, but I constantly work on how I feel. Everything I do in my life is on how I feel. This sounds very kind of disjointed, but as a yoga teacher, I have a vague idea of what I want to work on at that particular moment. And then the moment that I step into the room and I see the people and I sense the mood, I just work a session that would fit with them, for them at this moment in time. And I think that's something that I've perfected over the years. I just can read situation, and I feel the same thing is with so many kind of elements of my life. I mean, I could talk a lot about how I feel about my body, but you know, running for me is, it's just running. I don't get delighted when, you know, people have this runner's high and, you know, they just sort of so ecstatic and joyous. I don't particularly have highs, I don't think. I don't go, oh wow. I have these wonderful moments of reflection when I meet someone amazing, which is pretty much everybody on the trails, to be honest. I always find people extraordinary, and I have a lot of time for my fellow trail runners. On the other hand, I don't really have lows either. And actually, this was a serious low for me. So much so that for about, I would say, a good month, just did not want to go running at all. The one thing it did make me do is go to my doctor, and so difficult to get an appointment just to have a chat with the doctor, but I did actually get my blood test done, because clearly I felt there was something wasn't right, and I actually thought that maybe I'm going through menopause, maybe just there is something that I could supplement, or I don't know. It was just a feel that my body wasn't loving this training. And yet, once I go on a mat, when I'm on my yoga mat, my body is in my element. So is this the end of my running? Maybe, who knows? And that would have been, frankly, quite okay. I don't think I'm that attached to running. If as much as I love it, I think life is full of wonderful enjoyment. Perhaps I will find photography or Jenga or sausage eating or something rather. I don't eat meat anyway, but you understand what I mean? So it's just so many things that are exhilarating out there in the world. So I think when I'm running, I'm very good at staying in the moment. So I love the experience of being out in nature for no reason at all, which is pretty much most of my time, whether I'm dog walking or whether I'm doing yoga or traveling or whatever. But anyway, going back to Lakeland 100, I had, it transpired a little bit lower iron, just not very much. I mean, In fact, the lady there at the pharmacy used to give me I was so vigilant. The lady at the pharmacy said to me, "Oh, this is the most wonderful test results I have seen in a very long time for a 49-year-old woman," and I kind of felt even a little bit. I mean, I've always been very healthy and happy and connected to myself and connected to my beautiful mind. I love what I do every day, pretty much. And if something doesn't give me joy, I try to tweak it to understanding of what is there that I'm resisting, I suppose. Mind is always a wonderful, hang on, let's talk about it kind of tool. And I suppose this is why ultras work for me, because I do allow for the mind to be resistant, and all the same, I still allow my body to do its thing. I can feel pain or discomfort or this kind of unpleasantness or something, and kind of go, okay, I'm feeling so-and-so, okay, I am in pain, okay, I am so-and-so. So I don't kind of get too attached to it as a feeling, as an experience, as an emotion or whatever. Anyway, I'm waffling on, but the bottom line is I think Lakeland 100 coming up soon, in a few weeks' time. An email's telling me I think it's about 6 weeks to go. I'm starting to reflect a little bit more. How do I feel about this whole thing? And I think I'd like to start on that Friday at 6 o'clock and see the first night through well. I'd like to run within myself to start with, just to kind of not kill myself over, so pace myself well. That's kind of my my priority. The first part seems to me probably the hard part. Maybe I'm wrong, but just judging at the cutoff points and stuff like that, and I will definitely be chasing cutoffs, because I'm a strong hiker, but it is, I think it's going to be a shit show, to be fair. And I think if we have the typical Lakeland weather, it probably will be mega hot, or thunder and lightning, or super stupidly rain, the way it was last year. So weather-wise, there will be definitely difficulties. I know that much. I also think, whilst I did all the recce's and I know the terrain and I'm familiar with the route, I've practiced that quite a lot, for which I'm very, very proud of myself. I still feel there's just so much mental power in just navigating when something needs you to pay attention to which way you're going. So that I will have to stay on the ball. I think managing my feet will be a big thing. I do worry that whilst I'm very comfortable in the shoes and in the gear that I've practiced for hot, for cold, for God knows what, I think there will be a lot of little interim stops, if I can afford them at the time, to make sure that my feet are not totally destroyed. At least until the halfway point, where it's not quite halfway, it's actually 60 miles. So if I can get there, then I think I can regroup, and I think I'm good at regrouping anyway. So I think when we go to Delmain and I see the 50s, I think that will lift my spirits as well. I think it's going to be a lonely race, because it's the first night, and I reckon everybody will shoot straight away. The level is super high, the quality of runners is platinum, and I'm just very kind of at the back. In the last 100 that I did only a few weeks back, I ran with a beautiful lady who keeps reassuring me that the only 100 she has done is Lakeland 100, and she's been successful. She has towed the line in other 100s, which she hasn't done. So in fact, when we were running, she ran with me, and we kind of teamed up quite well. And there is a part of me that just kind of wonders, shall I stay with her, because I'm sure we can actually pull each other through. There is another part of me that I think I need to be on my own journey. I need to just keep moving and run my own race. I've learned over the years not to have these little pockets of experience without sort of gluing myself to something or someone. And in fact, I think it'll be nice to just go through with kind of the openness of a child a little bit. I love the experience of seeing things completely new, completely pure, and completely raw, I suppose. So yes, I'm looking forward to that, and I sort of feel I've had enough of training, and this isn't because I've overtrained, and this isn't because I've kind of over-anticipated or anything like that. It's purely because it's been a long time, and I think sometimes that is kind of the difficult bit, because people have this really long-winded, we're going to get married in 2 years' time, or in 2 years' time I'm going to, I don't know, toe the line for the first marathon. In 3 years' time I'm going to go to Costa Rica. Next year I'm going to buy a car. It's sort of kind of, I don't know, I often think, oh, I want to do something, and I just set myself up and do it. For something that needs your time, energy, preparation, of course, you can't just rock up. But I sort of feel happier being a little bit more spontaneous. I find once I reach the point where I start to overthink things, it's never really good outcome. So I have to stay away from overthinking stuff, which just by filming this video means that I'm overthinking it. But I suppose this is why I wanted to talk about it in camera, because it is so very easy to get sort of over and over again, and everything is planned to the nth degree. And yeah, I think it's time to let go. 6 weeks to go. I've actually very intuitively went back to running the way I was running before, which is pretty much every day. I take the dog for a walk first thing in the morning. I do a bit of running with him depending on how he feels. See, intuition here. And then I would go on my own for a run, anything between 10-15k plus minus whatever time I have, and then I will go on the road, and I will go in the mountains, and I will go in the hills, and I will go on the flat, and I will go with friends and on my own. And some days I will just think about going to bed at 10 o'clock, and then I go, actually I'm just gonna go and do 5k very quickly around the block. And then and some days I kind of go, actually I'm not going to run at all, because I'd rather meet a friend for a cup of tea and read a book. And it's always served me this so well. Nobody's making me do these things. It's just running ultimately. It's really not a big deal. So I kind of think Lakeland, it's been a bit of a big deal in my head in the past year. And I think there's been a lot of resistance in my head for it. And I think I've, in the last sort of couple of weeks or so, I think once I did this last 100, which I thoroughly enjoyed, by the way, I think I just let go, and I'm at the point where I am pretty peaceful. I think I'd like to do my very best. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling healthy, I'm feeling content, I'm feeling that final result does not define me. If it's a success, so to speak, if I finished the event, it means nothing. If I don't finish it, it means nothing. And somehow it's wonderful to have a wonderful day. It would be wonderful to have a good experience. And I think after quite a few very miserable months of running, somehow putting pressure on myself and all that, I do now go to pretty much any run, whether that's 5K, whether that's an event, whether that's an ultra, whether that's team event, whatever it is, I just go. I just want to have a good day. In fact, recently, I think my husband met me somewhere, and he was I think the first thing he said is like, you're 25 minutes late than what you said you will be. And I just kind of laughed in his face. And I'm like, so what? It really doesn't matter. So I've let go of it. But yes, I do have to run it. Otherwise, there's no point of just crawling up that Lakeland path. And that's that, really. So tucked away a whole lot of thoughts and hopes and ideas, and all being good. Next time I talk about Lakeland, I can share what actually happened, and hopefully it's I'm sure it's going to be lots of lessons, and I'm sure it's going to be ups and downs, but again, yin and yang, isn't it? So Yogi, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Come up, up. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Give us a kiss. Hey. Maybe not kiss. See you soon.